Airsoft kit. There's a lot of pieces out there, a lot to choose from. Possibilities are pretty much endless when it comes to things to pick and choose, and I know as good as anybody how hard it is to find good pieces of airsoft kit. I've been in the sport for, well, rather a hobby in my case, and I've only been seriously getting into the sport more recently. Um, but I've been in airsoft in kind of the world of airsoft for a good few years. I can't say for sure, um, but it has been quite a few years. So I have amassed quite the collection of airsoft stuff, and I have quite the experience whenever it comes to different pieces of airsoft kit. Now, there's a lot out there, and in incredible price ranges. I mean, it can range anywhere. For instance, for a plate carrier, it can range anywhere from $30 to $800. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm here to talk about some of my most recommended pieces of airsoft kit. So let's get right on into that. First things first, and that is not actually guns, that comes after, but the first thing that you should focus on when going airsofting is protection and safety. And the most important part of that by far is eye protection. Now, there are a lot of options when going with eye protection. And obviously, some are better than others. And out of all of the eye pro that I have read about, heard people talk about, and used personally, these are by far the greatest pairs of eye pro that I've ever had and used. So, starting off with the Pyramex Eye Force low profile safety glasses. Now, these come in at around 18 or $20 on Amazon, and they are really incredible for the price. The fogging is almost non existent. After playing for a while and not getting fresh air on them for a while, it will obviously start to fog a little bit, but that's just very minute and just in very small areas. But if you're looking for a good pair of eye pro that doesn't fog, at least very easily at all, these these are the ones that I recommend. And these are the ones that I recommend, I mean, for anyone, really. So these are kind of my personal preference. They're low profile. They fit on your face good. They're full seal, which means this area here it is in contact with your skin all the way around your eyes, which means there's no chance of BBs getting in there. And a lot of fields actually require your eye protection to be full seal. You can get these in various lens types. You can get the smoked ones. I believe there is a yellowish version. I don't really know what those are for. I just saw them the other day. But there's some yellow ones. There's some standard clear ones, and then there's indoor outdoor ones, which I do believe that I will be picking up a pair of those before too much longer, because they're a clear lens. Because they're a clear lens, but they have a mirror on the front to kind of avoid a lot of the, or not a mirror necessarily, but a mirrored lens on the front to kind of cut down on the sunlight getting in your eyes, and you don't have to swap out your eye pro from clear to tinted depending on the time of day or the weather conditions. Now, I talked way too long on those. I'm going to try to speed the rest of this up to avoid it from being a 40-minute long video. But these are the larger ones. These are the goggles. These are very nice. Also, I just prefer the low profile ones just because, I mean, I don't really know why. I just like the smaller ones better. But these are pretty nice also. I believe this area up here is to put an X-Fog adapter, which I will be doing if I decide on using these for milsim games, as opposed to those. I'll probably end up using those though, just because they're my personal preference. But these are in a clear lens. These are also very good at not fogging. They're a little bit less good than these. They do have a dual pane. Both of these, I didn't talk about that, but they have a dual pane lens that allows airflow in between the lenses and can avoid fogging. And this one has a nice little gel layer over the face padding, and this one is just rubber, so that one does work a little bit better. Um, but these are also a very good option, and they have a nice retention strap here for that's very adjustable for all your needs. And these also, the low profile ones, you can also, they come with, when you order them from Amazon at least, they come with a also an earpiece with a little strap on the earpieces to hold it on your head. But I'm much more of a fan of the strap here. So now we get into something that is a little. I know I said guns come next, but I have to put this on the table just before we move on, and that is face protection. Face protection is not a requirement at most fields. However, it is a recommendation at the majority of fields. There are so many different options whenever it comes to face protection. You can buy a mouth guard. A lot of people run those, like for like a football mouth guard or something like that. You can buy a Laylax, I believe, offers a silicone. There's like a silicone part that goes around your face here. It goes under like a balaclava or a neck gaiter thing that you're wearing. Or you can buy like a matrix. They have a little piece of wire mesh that just goes under your mask. Um, or you could get the full mesh ones that cover your face, the mesh or the half cloth ones, whatever those are, with the cloth and then the mesh in the middle. Or you can opt for one like this. Now this is a balaclava. This is specifically is a one tigress balaclava face protection, and I really like running this face protection when I'm running a cap. Whenever I'm running a helmet, it gets a little bit difficult with the chin strap. So I'm thinking I'm going to pick up an under the mask styled face protection of some sort. So this one is very interesting in the fact that it goes over your head like this, and it looks a little bit ridiculous normally, but once you put on a hat, it looks obviously less weird. So that is a very good option, and I really like running this whenever I am running a cap. Moving on now, we're going to talk about I mean, this this is in no particular order about what I recommend more or what I recommend less, unless I specifically say that between two different products. But um, whenever it's as vast from eye protection to guns, obviously you're gonna need all of them for airsoft. But these here are the guns that I would recommend more so than others. Now I will say I don't have a vast experience with a lot of AEG rifles or rifles in general. Um, I have a little bit of experience, and I know that this gun here, which is a VFC Avalon BR16 Saber, it is an absolute beast. Okay, it runs so well, and I even bought this one used off of a website called Hop Up. You can go and check that out. It's basically like eBay, but all of it is just airsoft. So I picked up this gun, the base gun, none of these attachments I put on it, for $250. And I know that sounds pretty steep, but whenever you hear that these guns are offered at around $380, you see that that's actually a pretty good deal, and it was uh, basically brand new whenever I got it. And I didn't have to do anything to fix it, but I just put all my attachments on there, and that's pretty much it. Now, this gun, like I said, they're offered for a lot. You can sometimes find these, they're for good deals, secondhand or used, like I did. But more guns that I would recommend are things like from brands such as Crytek. EMG offers a lot of very good guns, I know. Um, you could pick up a One thing that is a very, very popular beginner gun is a G&G combat machine. That one it's offered at a various different price points, and it's really a gun that you can just upgrade as you go along if you want to. Um, but all in all, this is my overall pick. It would be either this or a Crytek, uh, like a Crytek Trident Mark II. Those are also very nice, and they basically have the exact same internals. It's just the externals that really change. And aside from brand on the internals, it's basically the same thing uh, overall. Moving on to pistols. Now, for both of these, I will say that for a beginner, you should probably opt with something a little bit different, a little bit more affordable. But this is what I recommend for a lot of people. Now, not this pistol in particular, but this style of pistol. Now, this style of pistol is known as the 2011 or the High Kappa, and it is basically a double stacked 1911 pistol. Now, these guns are great performers. All of them, or the majority of them, are very easily upgradable and highly interchangeable with one another, and they are to my knowledge, they're all incredibly snappy and incredibly well operating guns. Now, back to what I was saying about not this gun in particular. Now, this gun has given me a little bit of trouble. This gun is the EMG Terran Tactical Licensed Combat Master 2011. I believe this was the gun from uh, John Wick, the third movie, if I'm not mistaken. Um, It's a very nice gun. Do not get me wrong. This is a very good running pistol straight out of the box. Now, there are a few things you're going to have to forgive my goat. She's fine. Um, I have had a few issues with it, and a lot of it, I'm not going to say a lot of it, but part of it has been operator error, and that is because I neglected to clean and lubricate the gun. That's my own fault. And now I'm trying to take the slide off with the magazine in. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Be smarter. So basically, in me doing that, that caused the internal, I believe it was the sears, to cause the slide to be jammed at this point, which you may notice it's not fully back or fully forward. And it was so annoying. It was stuck like that for quite a while until I was like, one day, I'm going to brute force it. I was like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to get this gun fixed, or I'm going to break it to where it can't be fixed anymore. So I took out the body pin. Also, this is a good little tip if you have this issue with a high kappa. So I took out the body pin and I pulled the barrel assembly, which is pretty much everything, all the way to the front as far as I could get it. And it, for some reason, it stuck there. I don't know why. And then I just knocked the back of the slide, uh, not not gently, and that caused the slide to come off. Then there was a few things. I ended up having to take it down. Ended up having to take out the internals back here and fix a little issue I was having with the sears for the hammer reset. We got that fixed. It ended up tearing whenever it came off. It ended up tearing again. Take magazines out, okay? It ended up tearing this little bumper here. That was a pretty easy fix, though, and very affordable. And then I got it cleaned and lubricated and everything back up in working order. So it's ready to rock and roll now. Another problem I'm currently facing is the ambidextrous safety here, as you can probably tell, it's broken. Because there's a surprising amount of pieces on this gun that is actually pot metal, which is just kind of bad metal. And this is one of those problems. Another problem I experienced was with the magazine release. It broke like right in the middle, and it was very difficult to get out, but it was a pretty easy and cheap fix. I ordered an Angel Custom extended mag release, which you can see here. Um, and also, I'm going to get this out of the way right now. I'm left-handed, so um, the extended magazine release really helps me with releasing the magazine. I can pop either my trigger finger down or my middle finger knuckle, my knuckle here up, and just press it. And it's very easy to actuate for me. And also, that's why this is a problem, is because I'm left-handed. But yeah, this gun is not the greatest high kappa in existence by far, and it's also not the greatest price. It comes in a price point of about $180, I believe, and you can find much cheaper high kappas, but this one is very good high kappa. And aside from the few issues I've had that have been easy and simple fixes, as well as that one operator error that was also a pretty simple fix, um, simple and cheap fix, it's a good gun. It's a good gun. So pick yourself up a high kappa. That's a very, very recommended piece of airsoft kit. Moving on to things to buy with guns. And before we get into this, I'm just going to say I'm sorry. This video is probably going to be way long, but I'm just trying to give you the best information I can. So obviously, if you're going to run an AEG, which is what I recommend over anything when it comes to the rifle, you're going to need some batteries. Specifically, some lithium polymer batteries or lipo batteries. So this one specifically is an 11.1 volt, and those work really well, but only if your gun has a MOSFET. If it doesn't have a MOSFET, then be sure to get a 7.4 because the high voltage of the 11.1 can cause some issues to happen in your gun. So this runs perfectly with the gun that I have. But if I got a cheaper gun that didn't have a MOSFET or something, then 11.1 would not be a good idea. This this is really what you're gonna need. You're gonna need batteries, obviously, but lipos are just what I recommend over the standard NIMH. Don't ask me what that stands for. I don't remember. But you're going to need BBs as well. These specifically are 0.25 gram BBs. These are Elite Force. You can buy these on Evic, on Amazon, pretty much anywhere that sells airsoft stuff. I mean, it's not hard to find these in stock in some brand, and really they don't vary that much. It's just these are just kind of what I like. I like the Elite Force ones. These are 0.25s. You can run these in all your guns, unless there's like a specific field requirement, which I've never seen. So yeah, a lipo and BBs 0.25 or up, depending on the gun, obviously. This, if you cannot tell, is a holster system. I left the gun over here. Hang on. Okay, so this is a holster system, and you're going to need one of these if you're running a pistol, because you don't want to shove one in your waistband or in your pocket and run with it that way, especially if it's an expensive gun. Get yourself a good holster, and specifically the holsters that I recommend are hardshell holsters because they clip into the trigger guard. Standard, they clip into the trigger guard. They may have a hood, but a slight variation, and there's no chance of your gun coming out unless you push in on that button there and simultaneously pull out the pistol. Now this one is a C-Tac holster, left-handed holster on a Matrix ultra low ride system. So I personally like the low ride drop leg style holsters because they're they're not up in your way or anything, which I mean, standard hip holsters, they're all right, but I personally prefer a drop leg or ultra low ride system. So basically, when this is on your belt, you put this strap around your leg and it keeps it from flopping, and it's kind of right there where your hands are, so it's way easier and quicker to access. That's just my personal recommendation. Moving on to something that is a little bit less of a requirement and a lot more of a personal choice, specifically like a fashion choice, that is plate carriers. Now, plate carriers, oh boy, there is an insane amount of plate carriers available on the market. And a lot of them are offered at really good prices. However, what are you getting for that price point? That is a big thing. Now, this is the best carrying system in general. I've used LBVs before, which is like a military surplus type vest, and I've used a cross draw vest, which you've probably seen those in movies or in on the airsoft field before. They're just a vest that kind of covers you completely, and there's a little zipper in the front. I don't love those. I prefer plate carriers, and I've used a couple plate carriers now, but this is by far the best one. Now, when it comes to plate carriers, there's a lot of times when you get what you pay for. There are a few exceptions to that, but I ran a Fire Gear plate carrier from Amazon for quite a while, and you've probably seen them before. You may have owned one, but I don't personally love them. They're a little bit, they got a weird weight to them. They're not very comfortable. They're pretty thick, hard to adjust, um, and they don't offer much air circulation. But this is the best plate carrier I've ever used, and this is the Wild Bee waterproof plate carrier. The Wild Bee plate carrier offered from a uh, company called NF Strike. You can go visit their online store. I'll leave a link in the description. Actually, you can go check out their stuff because I'm also going to give another recommendation to them in just a minute. But this basically is it has a wonderful weight with all of this stuff I have on it, as well as the mock plates I have in here. Has an amazing balance to it. Has these really nice pads in here with air channels in them, which allows very good airflow. And it's a pretty comfortable, it's a very comfortable plate carrier to wear, especially in some longer, for longer terms. Now on here, I have kind of built it a little bit as a cosplay kit, I guess you could say. It's not all practical. There's quite a bit, a good bit of it that's just kind of for looks purposes. This is offered in four different colors, I believe. You have the Ranger Green and Black version, which is this version. There's a black version, a multicam version, and I think there's another version, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'll be sure to put that up in post editing. Get you a good pair of gloves. I don't have mine out here to show you, but I have Mechanics Impacts. They're pretty good, but you can also get just some standard uh, knuckle protection gloves. I don't really know what they're called on Amazon or something. Pretty cheap. So, yeah. Another thing really interesting that I did not know is this plate carrier is actually flame retardant. So, I hope that is never going to come in handy. But I don't know. Another good thing about this, as opposed to a lot of cheaper plate carriers, is it has a quick release system on the cummerbund on both sides. So it's basically you pull out on these tabs and you can pull down. Also on one of these shoulder straps, it has a fully metal Cobra style closure buckle here. So you can just undo this and kind of take it off the side way, which is my preferred way of doing it. So yeah, that's this plate carrier. It's a very nice plate carrier. It comes in at a pretty hefty price at around, I believe it's 160 bucks. But occasionally NF Strike will have some pretty good deals going on for holidays, and sometimes just out of the blue they'll pop up with a discount code. So you can probably find one of those. If you don't want to dump the pretty hefty the amount of money on one of these, another plate carrier that they offer is the Tac Owl Alpha, which is a pretty nice plate carrier. My friend has one, and he really likes it. And it comes in at a price range of about $70, 70 or so bucks. But again, they have pretty good. Um, they have pretty good promotionals going on usually. And now another thing I'm going to go ahead and mention is this is a Chinese company. Wait, hear me out, okay? This is this is probably the greatest plate carrier. This is the greatest plate carrier I've ever used. The greatest carrying system in general that I've ever used. I've used a lot of carrying systems. Um, and I know what you're thinking. It's like it's a Chinese company, the stigma, but it's an incredible that they have some incredible pieces of equipment there. And also, you're probably worried about shipping costs. It's not that big of a deal. Their shipping, I believe I ended up paying like $4.20 to have this shipped from China to the United States, the Eastern U.S., and it got here in like 12 days. So you don't have to worry about shipping. Another thing I recommend is a good belt system. Now, this is not a requirement. A lot of people don't run these, but I personally prefer them because you can carry more stuff. Obviously, there's a few reasons, but I won't go deep into those. So first up here, this is a Condor LCS gun belt with a Condor inner belt. So basically, that inner belt can go around through your standard belt loops, and you can adjust it with the Velcro closure. And then whenever you put your belt on, it goes over the Velcro and it attaches so it doesn't move around a bunch. On this Condor LCS gun belt, I am running a 511 pistol mag pouch with my Terran Tactical or EMG STI specifically magazines, high kappa magazines, and STI, if you don't know, is the company that owns Terran Tactical. They do a bunch of like the custom weapon work. So yeah, over here I have a Valken rifle magazine pouch. This was a pretty good magazine pouch for the price. I think I ended up paying $6 for it. Put in a Haley strategic insert, and it fits my magazines just perfectly. This is the Crytek magazine I was talking about. I have 2 of these, and that works pretty great. Back here on the back, I'm running a Phantom Gear uh, dump pouch. These are pretty nice to have just in general because whenever you're reloading, you're done with the magazine, you can just, instead of having to like finesse it back into your magazine pouch, especially if you don't have an insert, you can just drop it in there and you're good to go. And then you can readjust whenever you get a chance. This over here is something that I don't really recommend as majorly. I'm just going over my kit basically, but this is a lot of these things I recommend, except for probably this. I would recommend putting on a general purpose pouch as opposed to this. But this is a very good piece for me. I am very very nervous when it comes to my phone, and so what this is I forget I believe it's Matrix. This is a phone case that it goes on your belt or your plate carrier and has a very nice closure, and you can just put your phone in there and it closes up very nicely and securely, and it's hard plastic, so you really don't have to worry about your screen breaking or anything, and there's a fun little place to put your patches. Over here I have an evic.com I believe this is called like a claw keeper clip mount, something like that. And on here I just have a little keyring with some more chem lights. And again, this is one of those just pretty much purely cosmetic pieces, but it looks really great on a kit. So yeah, that's what I'm running. So moving on to the very last thing, we're gonna try to hurry this. This isn't the last thing, but this is the last thing that I have a example of out here, and that is a good helmet system. Now you can obviously run caps. I did for a long time, still do on occasion, but a good helmet system is a really good thing to have. It adds to the tactical look, and it gives you a little bit more protection for your noggin. So this helmet system I kind of built in, as you can probably tell, it's a little bit more, again, cosplay-esque. This is an Action Union helmet from Amazon, and while you may be thinking, um, that's just a cheap helmet, it's cheap. It's affordable, as in, is what I'm saying. But it is not a cheap helmet. It's actually a very good, high quality helmet. This is a standard version, so it has a small little strap or a band there that goes on your head. Has some pretty nice pads in there for a little bit more cushion. But there's also an upgraded version available. that has a twister thing in the back and some upgraded pads so it fits your head a little bit better. It also comes with a counterweight. I bought this, um, and this is a pretty neat little piece of equipment. It has 5 of these little metal blocks that fit in this little pouch here, and it basically counteracts the weight of the night vision to keep the helmet from pulling your head forward. It's a very nice piece of equipment to have, and they're pretty affordable on Evic as opposed to Amazon. They're a lot cheaper on Evic. I'm also running a mock battery pack here for the mock night vision. It's not real night vision. I was not about to spend 20K on some night vision. But again, cosmetic. Up here I have a little ID or IFF marker. It's a little, you cannot see that. It's a little light, basically. It has a bunch of different color modes. And I have it up here for, it's kind of, again, a cosmetic piece, but it can also help if you're playing in an indoor dark area or an outdoor dark area, you can mark your team. Up here at the front, I have a little night vision mount. This is not a real one. Those things are crazy expensive. This is a cheap one off of Amazon with some, forget what brand these are. I think these might be FMA, TMC, or Matrix, GP and VG18 replicas with, again, the battery pack, and they have a nice little plug. You can, so they look like they're plugged in and everything. I have that running up at the front. And here on the sides, I have Earmer M32, Earmer M32 headset. Pretty nice to have for communication and a little bit of hearing protection. I'm also running a American flag patch and a helmet cover. The helmet cover is in multicam black. Came with the helmet as well as the American flag patch did. And then I just have 2 little evic.com hex patches back here for funsies, pretty much. That's just it. So yeah. So now, moving away from things that I actually have good representations for, I would recommend maybe getting some knee pads, some good ripstop pants, and a good ripstop combat shirt. I also recommend getting some spare magazines. I didn't talk about that. I should have, but spare magazines for your guns, obviously. And mid caps, not high caps, mid caps. I recommend that. I also recommend checking with, if you're in like a small group or community, checking with them what camo they're going to run so you can match the rest of your dudes. Now, I do not match the rest of my friends. The rest of my friends all run multicam, which I'm working on a multicam kit. My apologies. Hit the mic. I'm working on a multicam kit, but I don't have it yet. So the kit I'm running is a kind of a night urban type of kit. So nothing too crazy there, but I quite like it. And so now I'm going to work on a multicam kit. But yeah, I recommend that, and that's pretty much it, I believe. I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching this incredibly long video. Let me know down in the comments below what pieces of kit you most recommend. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed and you want to see more of my content. Also, a gear rundown, if you want to see that, let me know in the comments, and subscribe. I believe that's pretty much it. Hey guys, I will see you in the next one.